Hey guys, Michael here from michaelsherlock.com. I have here my iPhone 3GS running the official iOS 4.0 build. This will be going live on June 21st, 2010. It'll be a free upgrade for iPod Touch and iPhone users, although older generations of the hardware will not support all the features, and the original iPhone will totally not support iOS 4.0. Now, iPad users will be getting 4.0 for free, but that'll be coming later this year. So let's first just show you some of the features of this, and then I'll just give you my 2 cents on it. So as you can see, we have this background image here. That's about the extent of the customization, but in your settings, you can go to any wallpaper, any picture even, and then you can set it, and you can do lock screen, home screen, or both. I like both. It just looks more fluid in my opinion. And there you go. Another interesting thing about this is for AT&T users, it finally brings you the ability to tether. Now, let's just get a disclaimer out there. You need the Data Plan Pro as well as the $20 extra tethering. So when you go to set it up, that's basically what they're doing. You can go to the website to set it up, or you can just call AT&T to have them set it up. So you'll need to be paying $25 a month plus $20 if you want to tether. If you're using Data Plan Plus, which is 200 megabytes per month, that's not going to work. You need the Pro, like I said, which is 2 gigabytes. And if you're grandfathered in like I am, and you have the unlimited plan, you won't be able to add tethering. So AT&T is really trying to push you towards getting one of their plans. So what other new features do we have here? Well, one is folders. As you can see, when you first install it, it'll group your utilities together for clock, calculator, compass, and voice memos, and you just launch the app like you would any other app. But making folders is pretty easy. Let's say I wanted to put the App Store and iTunes together. You just hold, and you drag, and for some reason it names it Lifestyle. But the reason how it names it is based on the type of application it is. So if you were grouping games together, it would call it games. If you were grouping sports applications together, it would call it sports. And then if you want to change it, even you can just type whatever you want. And then if you didn't like the folder, you could drag out, and you can theoretically have one app in a folder if you want to, but you don't have to. And then let's just bring this back to the way it was before. So that's how you make folders. It's really easy to organize, and as you can see, I have lots of apps. So one of these days when I have a moment or two, I'll probably want to go ahead and do that. So next I want to show you one of the biggest features of iOS 4, multitasking. So if you double click, you have all of the apps. Now, there are people on both sides of the iPhone multitasking dilemma. Some people say they like the way Apple did it. Basically, they have 7 different APIs for allowing fast switching, for allowing task completion in the background. So the app itself isn't completely running. So on one hand, people say, oh, it's the most efficient method, and it'll work really nicely. On the other hand, people are saying, well, it's not like WebOS or Android, it's not actually running in the background, so you have some issues with that. So these apps aren't really running in the background, but they are apps that you used recently, and that they could have stuff stored in the background if the app is supported, because devs will have to support this functionality. But let me just show you an app called Evernote that already has functionality for multitasking built in. So we'll go to Voice here, and it'll start recording, and previously, when you exited out of the application, it would stop recording. Not so with iOS 4.0. As you can see, Evernote is still running. We can go to the browser, and we can look at whatever web page. What do we have loading here? michaelsherlock.com. So you could find the note that you wanted. Let's say you wanted to reference something about this mobile data article that I wrote. You could go ahead and do it, and then you can go back to Evernote just by clicking. You can stop, and then you can play it.
Exited out of the application, it would stop recording. Not so with iOS 4.0. As you can see, Evernote is still running. We can go to the browser.
So Evernote will run in the background. And again, you just double click and you can see all the apps that you have open. So you can easily jump to settings. This is a really nice feature, and you can easily jump to Safari. Now, let's say for whatever reason you wanted to specifically close out the application. Let's say you were having some problems with battery life and you want it to flush everything out. Again, the app isn't completely running in the background, so you don't really need to do this. And personally, I have never done this, or rather have had a need to do it. But if you want to, you just hold and you can close. But Apple says that their algorithm will keep your phone running perfectly smooth, and you'll never have to worry about managing it, but if you want to, you can. Now, in terms of battery life, I've noticed that it does take a hit a little bit compared to OS 3.0. However, I'm still getting about 30% at the end of the day, so it's not really a big issue for me. Previously, I had been charging my phone every day. I'm still charging my phone every day, so it doesn't really matter. It takes a little bit more juice, again, like 5 to 10%, but you shouldn't really have a problem, and you should still be able to get through the day. Now, another feature is this. By sliding to the left, you have your controls, so you can play iPod right from here. And what you also have is portrait lock, so if we close out of multitasking for a second, you can see that we can switch it like that. However, if we go over here, turn the lock on, no matter what direction you put it in, it won't do it. Now, the idea with your iPod controls is that, let's say an application like Pandora supported multitasking, you could run it in the background and run it here. So let me give you an example by opening up YouTube, because it sort of works in YouTube. So let's say, just turn the volume down for a second, you're watching this video, you can double click, and it'll initially pause it. However, when you go over here, you can click play, and it'll start playing. However, multitasking isn't fully supported, or whatever the case may be, because, let me just show you by making it louder here. When you close it, it stops playing. Now, obviously you can see that when Pandora takes full advantage of this, you'll be able to listen to Pandora in the background and then quickly control it, which is really nice, and I think it's really a seamless implementation that I'd like to see. Now, another feature is iBooks. Essentially, it's just like the iPad. You can read books on your iPhone, and it'll synchronize between iPad and iPhone, which is really pretty convenient. In conclusion, iOS 4.0 is a great upgrade. There's no reason not to upgrade your software to this. You have multitasking if your device supports it, you have folders, and you have a little bit more customization. Again, battery life does take a little bit of a hit, but I really haven't noticed any battery or performance issues by supporting multitasking. iOS 4.0 has resolved a lot of bugs, it has made the experience much more usable, and has brought many new features. Again, just to reiterate, I think it's really important and a nice step forward for iPhone to have iOS 4.0. However, there are still some things that I'd like to see. For instance, customization. All you can do is change the home screen. On jailbroken devices, you can add so much more customization. You can change the icons. You could add a 5-icon dock if you wanted to. You can have different widgets where you slide across and get status notifications. And of course, with that said, your notifications are still just as bad as before. If you get a text message, it'll pop up, and you either have to close it and then you won't get reminded again, or reply and it'll switch out of the app. Now, certain apps will be supporting inline SMS, so you could SMS inside of the application, but that's not supported natively for any of these applications, and it's just really annoying. So Apple still needs to work on a notification system where, let's say, in the top right-hand corner, there'd be a little mail icon and a little SMS icon when you had those different things, and you could just click, and it would slide down a little bit and gray out what you were doing, and you could go ahead and see it. So there's still room for improvement, but iOS 4.0 is a worthy upgrade. It's evolutionary. Maybe the next incarnation will be revolutionary, but as we move along, these operating systems get better and better. Again, I'm Michael Sherlock from michaelsherlock.com. Thanks for watching. What's your favorite feature in iOS 4.0? And have a nice day.